All right, Colin. I feel like we spend a lot of time in the weeds and just doing the job, doing the thing,
Mm.
talking to our clients, talking on our podcast, talking to each other. And sometimes it's nice to kind of take a moment to reset and think about how it all happened, how it all started and how we got here. And I really appreciate that we got this opportunity today to say, hey, like why did you become an advisor? How did this happen? Who do you work with? Like, what is it all? What's going on? And you already put some work in, and I appreciate that because you come more prepared than I do, as always. But you thought about this a little bit, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Why did you become a financial advisor?
Well, first off, I think sometimes going off the cuff is even better than being prepared, so we'll see how it goes today. But with that being said, I started off my career as a financial analyst. So I always had interest in math and numbers and investing in finance since I was young. And I thought going into this that like all areas of finance were going to be kind of similar, not realizing just how massive of an industry it is as a new young college graduate. And I found myself in a position where I was very much isolated, crunching numbers. It wasn't really kind of my thing. And I realized I really wanted to work with families and in particular have one-on-one relationships with people. And ultimately that's what kind of I'll say like pushed me into this role is my desire to be working with people directly and also having like involvement in things like finance and numbers and providing some value that I could tangibly see when it came to working with business owners or individuals or families or whoever it might be. So ultimately, that's what it came down to is a love for numbers, social interactions, and financial advisory. Just did both of those things for me. But what about you?
Yeah, I think I took a little bit of a different path to get here, and I was working in a very creative space and struggling to make ends meet and find a career there. And I happened to find myself through a temp agency working in this industry for a really talented advisor who got to teach me a lot about what it meant to be an advisor and how to really help people. And what I latched on to was the planning aspect of it and kind of like the narrative aspect of it. I was a storyteller by heart. Um, and what this job gave me an opportunity to do is kind of write stories with people, figure out what their financial story is, what it's going to be, help them understand kind of like what's happening. A big part of this job is just communication and making sure that we're clearly communicating. People are understanding what's happening, why it's happening. I really get excited about talking to our clients about that. And then I think helping our clients understand what's going on with them, right? Why they are, where they're going to be, et cetera. It's just like story building, world building, character building, but I'm doing it collaboratively with my clients. And I really enjoy that.
You're really good at that, like I have to say. I think some people come in, and I was just on a client meeting where there's all these things that they want to do, and how much do I need to save, and what will my life look like if this happens, and blah, 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 blah. And that's something that you've always been really good at is like being able to paint a picture where, okay, well, if we can get your finances dialed, this is what the end of the road looks like. And, your goals may look like this, or have you considered this over here? And I think being able to explain things and bring it down to a level where, there's not so much jargon and people understand you and follow it and you can align what you're doing with their goals is really important.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think it's really helpful in figuring out, the type of clients that will gravitate to you, right? The clients that gravitate to me or really enjoy working with me are the people who really enjoy understanding what's happening and why it's happening. And I think they take it pretty seriously. Like they don't take it seriously by logging in every day to see what their accounts are doing. And they don't even necessarily take it seriously by tracking their expenses every month, but they take it seriously because they care and they put in the work to get to the point where they're sitting across the table from us or
Uh-huh.
on the other side of that camera. And that's the type of client that I really like working with. They've really dedicated themselves to their financial success. They've put the time in to get to the place where they're ready to take that next step, and then I'm able to help them put it all together and figure out what story they're telling and what's the world that they're building, and what the next chapter of that story is going to look like, and the next book after that when it comes to their kids, etc. And it's really a lot of fun for me. I feel like we kind of, one of the things I really like about working with you is that you work with sometimes very different clients than I do, and we bring those two experiences to the table. So the complexities that you're familiar with versus kind of like the journeys that I'm familiar with, and we get to kind of play off of each other, which is a lot of fun. Who do you find that you normally gravitate to, or what's your niche,
Yeah.
so to speak?
I'll say, my niche are kind of multi-generational families and business owners. And I think the reason for that is because I really like to organize things. And I'm just such like an OCD type personality that a lot of the times multi-generational families and business owners will come in and there's so many objectives and problems and things to solve for, whether that's, financial literacy among families or estate planning or tax management or creating different investment pools and buckets for different objectives or something philanthropic. And I love the idea of taking all of these different goals and distilling them down to a plan that we can then execute on. But then additionally as well, I think what we try to do, and I'll say like kind of where we thrive a lot of the times is by building the team around our clients. And that's what I love to focus on is, we can't do everything and we recognize that. So it takes a team sometimes to make sure that all of our clients' goals and objectives are accomplished. And I think the financial advisor is the quarterback of that. But if we can get great estate planning attorneys, great CPAs, great people around our clients where they can take their plans and all these things that they want to accomplish and execute on them, that's what I really love to do is I love to take kind of the chaos, if you will, and organize it and present it and tell that story and make sure that things are getting executed. That's what I really love to do. And that's where I take the most enjoyment out of it, so to
Yeah.
speak.
It's interesting, like as we kind of talk this through, I think of us falling into kind of different roles or different like traditional careers almost. It's, you're almost an engineer and I'm the storyteller. And I think we are essentially doing the same thing, and we might arrive at the same destination, but we do it from with a slightly different approach. We different take a different path to get there. And it's really cool how both of those paths can reach that final outcome, that shared outcome. And sometimes it's because, to your point, we're collaborating as a team and we can see it from multiple angles. It's kind of almost like we are a left and right brain
Right.
working together, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does keep things interesting and it does make things go smoothly oftentimes too. So we're fortunate in that regard.
Cool. Well, I think that was all we had. It was just exciting to kind of sit here and get these questions and think through some answers. And it's really nice to get that opportunity. So thank you, Matt Ackerman, for giving us this option. Thank you,
Thank you,
Finney,
Matt. Yep.
for helping us figure out what to do with all this.
Yep. Thank you guys. And we'll be in touch soon.